You know what I hate whenever I go to an amusement park with someone? It's when they're too afraid to ride a single coaster. And okay, if they get motion sickness, then I can understand that. But if they're irrationally afraid to ride a roller coaster, then I get irritated. Your chances of dying on a roller coaster is slim to none. Actually, you're more likely to die on the way to an amusement park than you are at the amusement park. Just think about that. A roller coaster is a controlled environment. You're monitored by sensors, a computer system, contained by a restraint. Then a car, you're protected by a thin leather strap with a driver that may or may not make a mistake, surrounded by other drivers that may or may not make a mistake. Now, I'm not saying roller coaster accidents don't happen, but if they do, it's on very rare and specific circumstances. It could be between design fails, human error is a big one, improper maintenance. However, in today's standards, you don't really see that anymore. Parks that want to go above what's required and have a ton of redundancy to make sure you are safe and have fun. But how about we just ignore all that, sweep it under the rug? Let's say there was a roller coaster out there where you just die. Flat out die. You're not supposed to live after you ride this coaster. No safety protocols, no nothing. The one purpose of this coaster is for you to perish. Who would dream and design this concept? Well, one engineer that I assume is demented, because he designed a roller coaster where you are not meant to live. How would it be like to ride this coaster? What components are supposed to end your life? And what are the chances of you actually surviving this coaster? Well, let's find out. The roller coaster in question is called the Euthanasia coaster. Many enthusiasts from the 2010s may remember this, because a decade ago, a French designer by the name of designed the Euthanasia coaster. It was never meant to be built, it was more satirical. Anyway, let's go over the ride experience to see what this guy was smoking. According to the Euthanasia coaster website, because that exists apparently, you enter the ride on a single seat, so you get no partner while you take the plunge, and you go up a chain lift very slowly. He seemed to really express that part because he wants you to take it all in before you decide to end your life. This would have been the tallest coaster in the world if it ever got built. King Ka is over 456 feet. This would be about 1600, so more than 3 times the height. When you do reach the summit of the 500-meter lift hill, there would apparently be a button next to you, and you would decide whether you wanna go down the drop or be released. Oh, okay. I assume you would have done that before you left the station, but whatever, it's fine. Then, you're about to go over the drop. As you reflect on your life, it's too late. You descend at a speed that's near terminal velocity, meaning you're going almost as fast as the force of gravity, 100 meters per second, 223 miles per hour. As you go down, you may think this is the best coaster drop of all time. I mean, I imagine because it's so freaking tall. But what happens next is not so pretty. Remember, you're going at 223 miles an hour, and you have to level out the bottom. Instead of going with the force of gravity, you're going against it. And by doing this, you're exerting a lot of G-force. I've discussed G-force before. The one you experience here is positive Gs. How many? Well, 10. To put that in perspective, you just sitting here and doing nothing, just living on Earth, is 1 G. 1 times the force of gravity pushing down on you. If you experience something like 2 Gs, that'd be twice your body weight pressing down on you. Just leveling up another G is another multiplier to your body weight. So 10 Gs would be 10 times your body weight forcing down on you. If I try to compare this to a different coaster, Tower of Terror at Gold Reef City seems like the best candidate because at one point of its life it did exert 6.3 Gs. Even if it still did, it was in such a short time frame, so it's probably not the best comparison. I would have to relate it to something like I-305. Sure, it only exerts 5 Gs, not 10, but it's the best we got. I-305, it's known for making people gray out and black out. Why? Well, after the drop, you go into a nice long turn that takes about 7 seconds, and during that time, you're feeling all 5 Gs. So by doing that, the brain isn't getting enough oxygen, since most of it's going to your feet, which causes your vision to get all blurry and dark. Gross, but that's how it works. The Euthanasia coaster, you're not experiencing this for 7 seconds, you're experiencing this for 60. And at twice the G-force, it's gonna be lethal. The engineering comes into play when it has to maintain 10 Gs of force for over a minute. How does it do this? You see the 7 loops on the coaster? These are circular loops, ones you would find on Schwarzkopf coasters. They're not the typical clothoid loops, which is like an oval shape where you lose energy going up, then gain it on the way back down. These ones, they maintain centrifugal force to make sure you feel a lot more intensity. Notice each loop has 10 Gs of force. It's able to do this because each loop shrinks in diameter and allow the train to power through each one. Because the coaster is going to naturally slow down, so later in the ride it has to tone down the elements while also keeping up with the force. Just like I threw a 5, the blood's gonna be rushing from your head to your feet. Except this time your body's gonna have to overcome a whole different kind of punishment. For a whole minute without oxygen to the brain, you're gonna experience hypoxia. That's when you go into tunnel vision, then you gray out, you black out, then you pass out. And you will not get oxygen until at least the 60 seconds are up. And at that point, you're supposed to be dead. Notice how I said supposed to. Even though the euthanasia coaster is supposed to kill you in terms of euthanasia, I do think you're able to survive this. That's because of 2 reasons. 1, the credibility of the guy who designed this, and 2, some aspects that involve biology. But let's first look at reason number 1. So, is strange. Would be under-exaggerating. No, he's insane. Let's just look at his portfolio to see what other work he's accomplished. Let's see. Oh. Okay. This is, something else. So apparently one of his works is an artist rendery of a frozen dead body planet. Okay. That's, okay. He wanted to see if enough dead bodies clumped together they would make their own gravitational pull. Alright, what else we got here? We got the cum spin. I'm gonna leave it at that. The Honoric Hotel, which is apparently a pop-up hotel where you can, I think, artificially manufacture your dreams or something. And you need 3 band-aids on your back to do that, apparently. Something called the Vomit Simulator. You can guess what's gonna happen by this image. And, okay, I'm done. I'm not describing any more of this guy's work. He's clearly not an engineer. I don't know what he majored in, but you can't sit me down and tell me that his machine that forces you to watch interpretive dance is brilliant. He's one of those people who comes to the public with a weird product with a shock value that just gets others talking. I mean, I'm babbling about his euthanasia coaster right now, so he's got me hooked. But even if you still think he's credible after I've told you all of his work, including something called Talking Doors, it's literally just 2 guys with a plank of wood, just look at his video on the euthanasia coaster. You can tell he doesn't know what he's talking about at some points, and what he says is very generic.
Quite long journey. In the middle you have a hardline element where you are spun around a track like this. At the very bottom, you start to be raised again.
I just don't think he's credible. However, let's just ignore this for right now and get to my second point, biology. I already told you it's supposed to kill you from hypoxia. The issue is, I don't think you're exposed to 10 Gs long enough for it to actually end your life. Sure, any doctor will tell you that 60 seconds without oxygen to the brain isn't good for your health, but if you want to be clinically brain dead, it would take 3 to 6 minutes of ride time for it to kill you. The 1-minute duration, likely what would happen is, when the ride's over, you're gonna be in a coma. Some people may have to be on life support because of a snapped brainstem. Organs could be shifted, but you'll still be alive. Not well, but alive. The only people who couldn't survive the euthanasia coaster the way it is now are people with respiratory issues, high blood pressure, octogenarians, just anyone who is severely sick. And that's kind of who this ride's intended for. Sure, the designer, who I can't pronounce his name, may be a crackpot, but dang it, I enjoy the satire of the euthanasia coaster. It tries to present itself as a solution to death and incurable illness, 2 subjects people don't really want to talk about. The euthanasia coaster is a way to end life on a high note. Go out on your own terms with a shot of adrenaline. Death may be terrifying, but when you go down that drop and up the first vertical loop, all that's left is bliss. Maybe that's what he intended with this design. Make death look intimidating, but it's not going to be as bad as we think in the end. Or this was just a way for him to get a bunch of dead bodies for his planet. Oh well, not all theories can be a winner. Anyway, that's just my take on the euthanasia coaster. Tell me in the comments, if this actually existed, would you make it your final ride? Sound off below because I do want to hear your thoughts about it. Please like and subscribe. I'm not here to force you, but I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.